Yo, what's going on? You probably clicked on this video because you saw the title that I lost 25 pounds by eating the HEB Meal Simple meals. But before we get into all that, let's roll back to last year, pre-corona, everything we're going through right now, quarantine and all that stuff, so I can kind of bring you from there to how I ended up doing all this. So last year, May 28th to be exact, I decided that I was going to sell pretty much everything I own, just about my house and the majority of my contents, with the idea to follow and pursue a dream that I've always wanted to do, and that is to see all 50 states in the US and to travel full-time and work remotely to make all that happen. So once I decided to do that, I started by basically setting aside pretty much anything and everything I thought I could sell, and I put that up on a website I had made, and actually there's still some of that stuff available, so maybe I'll throw a link to that below possibly, and see if I can sell some of that stuff off, because it would help me out a lot. And then I started making preparations on the house to sell the house, and so got everything done. Took a bit longer than I anticipated, but fast forward to January of this year, January 2020, and I did in fact sell my house and close on it, and hand over those keys to a good friend of mine that I grew up with. This was, still before Corona, before we knew anything that was going on, and so I was still planning to move forward with my dream of traveling full-time. That's still my plan, but we'll see how things pan out. So fast forward a bit, and to February, March, which is about the time that my city of Houston, Harris County, said that everybody needed to go into quarantine and start working from home. Fortunately for me, I was in the position to do so with my employer and the job that I do. It did allow me the ability to work remotely, so I started working from home. After getting situated with all that, I decided, everything's looking like eventually at some point it will go back to normal, and so I decided to go ahead and sell my SUV, buy my pickup truck, and buy my RV, which is where I'm sitting at today. I'm sitting here in my RV as I make this video. Unfortunately for me though, that was in June, and I would say a couple of weeks after I purchased my truck and purchased my RV, my employer ended up having to lay me off due to COVID. Myself, along with a lot of my coworkers, were all let go. Now, that's not to say anything bad about my employer. I had a wonderful employer who did everything they possibly could to keep all of us on board for as long as humanly possible. But at some point, you have to put the company first and shed some weight to stay afloat while we work through this. Maybe one day down the line I might have my job back, but right now that's really not anything that's set in stone. So like many of you, I have unfortunately fallen into unemployment, and am doing everything I can to stay afloat, but I've only got a little bit of money left in the bank before this all goes upside down on me. So I moved in with a friend when all this was started. That was my plan all along, was to move in with a friend that had a property large enough for me to put the RV on. Live here for about a year before I officially hit the road in January of 2021. And my goal this year was basically to make short trips throughout the year, start getting familiar with my RV, make a few modifications to my truck and RV that I want to do, so that it's fit for me the way I want it to be for the road. Matter of fact, if you want to see a tour of my RV, I did a collaboration with an RV channel, Big Truck Big RV. Thanks to JD again for that collaboration. I'll put a link. You can go check that out in the description below, and I'll also throw it up above here. So you can go check out a tour of my RV if you care to see what it looks like. So, but yeah, so I don't know what the future holds for me. I'm hoping that I don't lose my RV and lose my truck and lose out on the dream that I have to travel full time. I am actively looking for employment. I'm doing everything I can to try to find a new job. I would prefer to try to find something where I can work remotely so that I can still travel next year. But right now, all that matters is that I get employment. So if I end up having to put my travel plans on hold, which I really don't want to, but if I have to, I've got to pay the bills. I've got to get a job. I've got to do something. With that being said, if you want to refer me work, I'll have links to a few different things below. I manage social media for businesses. I do SEO for businesses, search engine optimization for websites. I develop websites. I'm a photographer. I'm a videographer. Basically, I live behind a computer screen or a camera. So yeah, so I do all that stuff. So if you can send some work my way, if you've got somebody in mind that is hiring for something like that, hey, send them over. But enough with the everything that's gone bad. Let's move on to some more positive things, some things that happened that I didn't expect to happen this year. So number one being I'm healthy. You know, I know a lot of people, unfortunately, that have contracted COVID since this has all started. I've had a few people that have passed away from COVID this year, and fortunately for me, I've yet to contract anything, and any of my immediate family. I did have some extended family, someone who did in fact pass away from COVID. So, again, like I said, some of the more fortunate things that happened was I got healthier beyond just not contracting COVID, but losing some weight. So I've always wanted to shed some weight. I've never been huge on exercise and working out. I'll go get a gym membership. I'll work at it for a month or two and slowly end up stopping with that. I'm not a huge exercise person, and diet has been another challenge for me because most of the time I've always been cooking for one, and I'm not real big on leftovers. So when you try to cook meals that are for one person and go healthy way about it, it can be challenging. But when I moved in with my roommate this year, and right as quarantine and everything began, we started buying a lot of the H-E-B meal simple meals, and just we weren't getting the individual ones. You know, like they make some where it might be like steak, a vegetable, and something else, or chicken, a vegetable, and something else. We've been doing is getting like the 2 chicken breasts or the 2 steaks or whatever, and then we'll get a side, and then we'll maybe make a side of our own or something like that, or we might make rice to go with it. And we've been eating those almost every single day. Like the bulk of our meals, our dinner, are built around those. So sometimes I might take the chicken, bake it, cut it up, and turn it into a burrito or a taco with rice and beans. Sometimes we'll get the pasta meals. We kind of say that they're like our cheat day, that we'll do a pasta meal like maybe like once a week or something. Sometimes we'll get the Tex-Mex meals. I mean, it might again also be kind of like a cheat day. We'll get enchiladas or empanadas or something like that. But I'm not a calorie counter. I do kind of like try to get a portion that's reasonable. My roommate, he weighs everything out. And shout out to my roommate Tan. He's down, I think, over 40 pounds, or closing in on 50 pounds, I believe. But he has been actually exercising. He's been doing cardio every single day. And this last month or so, he started doing a little bit of additional exercise, hitting the gym and things like that. So his weight loss is greater than mine, and I think you can attribute that to the fact that he did both the meals as well as the exercise, whereas mine has been predominantly just the meals. The first month, I would say, I was walking a couple of miles a day for the Monday through Friday, but that lasted for a couple of weeks, and unfortunately I didn't stick to it, but I've still been losing the weight. So at the start of all this, at the start of this year, I weighed in at around 197. I want to say that if you were to have put me on a scale last year, I think I was probably closer to like 200 or 205. But when I officially started doing this and set forth with a plan to lose weight, when I stepped on the scale, I was 197. And as of today, I'm down to 171.6. So that's why I say I've lost over 25 pounds just by a little bit. But I'm continually losing. So it's basically like I'll lose, go up for like a day or two, maybe 3, and then go back down and go down below where my initial weight loss was, and then it'll kind of plateau for, you know, a week or so, and then go down a little bit and go back up and then back down. But collectively, it's basically going down. So I'm not going to do any cooking on this. I'm not going to prepare any meals on this video. If you have questions for me, ask me in the comments. Feel free to reach out to me on social media. And if y'all want, I've already considered adding a, you know, like kind of like a cooking segment to my YouTube channel. And so maybe I can show you guys how I prepare some of the meals that I make with these HEB meal simples. Let me make note too, HEB did not ask me to do this video. That matter of fact, they don't even know that I'm doing this video. I don't think I'm breaking any rules or anything by doing this. That if anything, it represents them in a positive note. But I'm sure there are other companies out there that do similar things. As a matter of fact, I know there's a lot of these services that deliver food. But for me, this is what's been easy, is getting these meals from HEB. So yeah, I don't really have a whole lot more to say. If you want to keep up with my journey, if you stumbled across this video some other way than, you know, being a regular subscriber to my channel, sometimes people tell me that my YouTube channel doesn't have a good focus because it's all over the place. And the reason I'm laughing as I say that is because I'm all over the place in regards to, I have an interest in a lot of different things. So my channel eventually, hopefully, if everything pans out the way I would like to, will start to have a lot more travel on it. Right now it has some travel. Over quarantine, I also started doing a lot of puzzles, and you guys seem to enjoy those videos, so I'm doing more and more of those videos. Sometimes it might be something that follows me around on my photography ventures and things that I'm working on. It might just be vlogs, kind of like what we're watching right now, me sitting here talking to a camera. Oh, and you know what? Before I forget, so the tough thing for me on this too is I didn't think to take some before pictures. So I had to dig through a whole bunch of photos and find what I felt were the photos that showed me at my heaviest, or that could show the before and after. So here's a few pictures from before, and here's a few more pictures from before. And here's a few more pictures from before. And I'm gonna do here in just a second is I'll stand up in front of this camera, and if this doesn't work out well, I'll throw up some after pictures. But let's see. So in my before pictures, you probably saw my shirt was protruding out, and there's actually give in my shirt. Like, it's not even hugging me, and I haven't had that in, like, I probably couldn't tell you, 5-7 years, maybe more, maybe 10 years. So this is the lightest I've been in recent years that I can recall. Again, if those didn't come out well, I'll put up some after pictures so that you guys can see a good before and after. I think that's really about it. If you guys, again, subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed. Leave a comment on the video, it does help. Give it a thumbs up, that also helps. And I don't know, I feel like I'm rambling at this point. So yeah, if you can send me some work, photography, videography, website builder, SEO, social media. I manage social media ads primarily on Facebook. So if you want to put together good ad campaigns for your companies, I can work with big businesses, small businesses. I'm reaching out for help at this point. I don't want to lose my my RV. I don't want to get stuck going back to just the regular scenario I was in before COVID. So all right, I guess that's about it, guys. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and of course hit that little bell. And I will see you in the next video. Later.